What if I told you that the global economy doesn't actually flow freely across the world? What if everything you buy, use, and depend on every day is moving through just a handful of narrow points on the map, so small that most people never even notice them? Not countries, not continents, but choke points. And when you look closely at global trade, you start to see a pattern. Everything converges, everything compresses, everything is forced through the same narrow routes again and again. And that is not random. That is geography, history, and power. Today, those routes sit at the center of a quiet global balance between major powers like the United States and its allies, China, Russia, Iran, and key regional states that control or influence access to these passages. Not always through open conflict, but through constant strategic pressure. Let's start with one of the most sensitive points in the entire system, the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow passage between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula where a huge share of the world's oil supply moves every single day. But what makes it powerful is not just what flows through it. It's what happens when there is tension around it, because nothing has to actually happen for the world to react. Just risk, just uncertainty. And global energy prices move instantly. That makes Hormuz one of the most sensitive pressure points in the entire global economy. Now move into the Red Sea, a critical corridor that depends on 2 points working together, Bab el-Mandeb in the south and the Suez Canal in the north. And this route is not new. It was shaped by empire. The Suez Canal quickly became one of the most strategically important waterways in the world because it changed global trade between Europe and Asia. It cut thousands of kilometers from shipping routes, and that advantage still exists today. But control and influence over the canal shifted over time between global powers, each recognizing its strategic importance. Today, the canal is under Egyptian sovereignty, yet the world still depends on it, because this route is fragile. And we saw it clearly in 2021, when a single container ship, the Ever Given, blocked the Suez Canal. And global trade didn't slow down, it stopped, because the system depends on flow, not disruption. Now move slightly west, to the Strait of Gibraltar. This is the only real gateway between the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. Every ship moving between Europe, Africa, and the Atlantic has to pass through this narrow point. And while it looks stable today, its importance has never really changed, because whoever influences this passage influences the flow between two of the world's most important maritime worlds. Now move east into Southeast Asia. The Strait of Malacca, one of the most important choke points in the world. Here, trade between China, Japan, South Korea, and the Middle East all compresses into a single narrow corridor. And for China, this creates a strategic vulnerability because a massive share of its energy imports passes through here, through a route it does not fully control. This is known as the Malacca Dilemma, and it shapes how China thinks about trade, energy security, and naval power. Now move to Europe, to the Turkish Straits, the Bosphorus, and the Dardanelles. This is the only connection between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, which means countries like Russia depend on this route to reach global waters. But Russia does not control it. Turkey does, under international agreements, which turns this passage into a form of geopolitical leverage. Because in moments of tension, access becomes power. Now move north to the Danish Straits, one of the key gateways between the Baltic Sea and the North Atlantic. This is the route that connects ports in Russia and the Baltic region to global shipping lanes. And while it looks peaceful on the surface, it sits inside a broader NATO-aligned strategic environment, which means its importance is not about direct control, but about influence, geography, and long-term strategic positioning. Not open conflict, but quiet geopolitical weight. Now cross the Atlantic to the Panama Canal. This choke point is not natural. It is engineered. A complete reshaping of geography to control global trade between two oceans, built under American influence and still essential to global shipping today. Because it doesn't just shorten routes, it reshapes global logistics. Now step back and look at everything together. Hormuz, el-Mandeb and Suez. Malacca, Turkish Straits, Danish Straits, Panama Canal. Different regions, different powers, different histories, but the same pattern. Global trade does not spread evenly across the world. It compresses into a small number of narrow corridors. And that creates a paradox. The global economy has never been more efficient. Goods move faster than ever. Supply chains are more connected than ever because efficiency requires concentration, and concentration creates vulnerability. We built a global system to remove distance. But in doing so, we made geography more powerful than it has ever been in modern history. Because in the end, global trade doesn't run on open oceans. It runs on gates. And those gates are choke points, controlled by geography, shaped by history, and always quietly political.